It is a risky thing to do, and you may succeed or you might fail. But remember that failure is not taking yourself out of the game. It is said that failure is part of success. You will learn so many things during that phase. Even if you're failing, you learn a different way not to do things and another way to do things better next time. In this video, I would like to share 3 very important things that could apply to you, no matter who you are, no matter your background. And one is that you can follow your dreams no matter how crazy they are and no matter how lofty they are. And 2, to debunk the mindset that there is someone out there to get you, to press you down, to stop you from your dreams, and to hinder you, and that you are powerless to change your present and to change your future, and that nobody is there to take you out of the game except yourself. And number three is to reiterate that the only person that can take you out of your game is you. It's you. It's your mindset. It's how you view yourself. It is how you speak to yourself every day. The positive mindset or negative mindset, that is very, very important. And there is a new thinking that I've learned recently, that you always get back what you put out there. If you plant a good seed, you will get a good harvest, positive harvest. Likewise, if you put out a negative seed, if you plant that, you will get a result that is equivalent to that seed. And that, number 2, is if you continue doing what you've always done. You've been dreaming about certain things that you wanted to do, but you did not take action. At the end, you will get exactly that. You will get the same result for continuing doing what you've always done. And the solution to this is what we call quantum leaping. Quantum leaping, is exactly as it sounds. It's like shifting from one place that you've been in for a long time into another place. It means a mega transition in your life. It means mega action taken. And I'm not going to say that this is a very easy thing. It is a risky thing to do, and you may succeed or you might fail. But remember that failure is not taking yourself out of the game. It is said that failure is part of success. You will learn so many things during that phase. Even if you're failing, you will learn a different way not to do things and another way to do things better next time. So never take yourself out of the game. Keep aiming higher. Keep dreaming higher. Following those lofty dreams of yours, and take mega action. Take mega action. So hello and welcome to African Living Abroad. I am Jamhuri, and I'm here to share my international experiences, build bridges between cultures with the hope of making the world a better place. And as a social observer, a commentator and interpreter of social events, I tell stories. And today I am going to tell you a very, very special story. And I am going to interview Josh Okello. It's my very, very first interview ever for YouTube. So I am pretty excited. I guess this is the direction I might be going in the near future. And I have my notes with me just in case, I miss anything. So I think that should be fine. And Josh is a former international student, and he recently vied for the seat of the MLA, which is a member of Legislative Assembly in Manitoba, Canada, in an area called Portage Lisgar. And so he will tell us more about it. And before that, I would like to say Josh and I have three things in common. The first one is we were both born and raised in Kenya. And we both came to study in Canada as international students. I was ahead of him. And we started in different provinces. I started in British Columbia. He started in Ontario. And we both ended up in Manitoba. And in the recent years, our paths have crossed. So I think we were meant to do this interview, because we have some things in common. And so, and we both reside in the same area, or resided in the same area. And another very interesting thing is this year in 2023, when Josh let us, the African community, know that he's going into politics, we were very excited for him. And the members of the African community right away named him Honorable Okello, or Mheshimiwa Okello. And it caught on very well, right? But today, he said he would just like to be called Josh. So I would respect that. Are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
All right. So Josh, we will get right away into the interview. And yes, I would like you to introduce yourself about your background in Kenya.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in to this lively show hosted by my sister Jamhuri. Jamhuri and I share same stories as she mentioned. And we also live in the same community. So coming from Kenya, almost speaking the same tribal language, if you date it back, to meeting in Manitoba after living elsewhere within Canada, I think this was really meant to be, like you said. So briefly about myself, my name is Joshua Okello. I'm originally from Kenya. I came to Canada in 2009, where I went to school in Ontario. And I am currently a husband, a father of two beautiful daughters. And because of politics, I don't like to mention them a lot. I like them to just be outside politics and just be family members as I handle politics. So I try not to include them in politics as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. And be stressful, right? For the family?
Definitely, yeah. It's definitely hard on families because you are required to be going out and meeting people and talking with people, listening to people. And you cannot be two person at a time. You can only be one person at the same time. So meaning that my family had to see less of me as I was campaigning and canvassing, doing door-to-door, meeting people, attending party events and things like that.
Yeah.
So that was definitely hard on my family. I have two girls who are 6 and 3-year-old. So they like to see daddy before they go to bed. And sometimes I would be home by midnight, which is not fun.
Yeah. I think I can relate to that. Many people don't know that I come from a political family.
Yes.
And I don't tell people much about that, but as my viewers get to know me more and more, and people wonder why I've gotten so much into politics, but my father was a politician. And I will reveal more and more in the future. But right now, yeah, so I understand. When we were growing up, my mother said it was very stressful. I was a little kid then. Yeah. And so so I can relate to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what did you study when you came to Canada?
So I studied international business.
Yes.
Then I minored in philosophy or Christian apologetics. So those were my two majors. After that, I went back to school for further studies where I got my master's in technology, business technology. Currently I am a teacher in one of the colleges in Manitoba, and I also do some design work. So that is briefly about my academic background.
That is really amazing. And when you talk about what you do, what you teach,
Yes.
it solidifies my discovery that we are not just one-sided people. We have so many faces, so many facets of ourselves, and sometimes we limit ourselves right into just one thing. And that's something that we grew up with, right? It's like there was just one path to go. And do you agree that in Canada you can explore many avenues, and for this wonderful country that we're grateful for, that we can be whatever we can be and juggle different things and still succeed? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. It is a privilege and an honor that not a lot of people are taking advantage of.
Yeah.
In places where we come from, to venture into politics, you have to be super wealthy, or you must know somebody who knows somebody who knows
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
But we're living in a country where, if you truly believe in yourself and believe in your ideologies that you can share out with the people and make lives better, and you
Yeah.
are given that opportunity. I think
Yeah.
this is something that a lot of people need to realize and start, almost taking these risks in life.
Yes.
And see where the road leads. It is all free and open to anyone who is
Yeah.
interested in public service. Yes.
Yeah. So you are also at the phase in life where you are giving back the knowledge and all that you've learned, because a teacher taught, one of my mentors said, there is a phase for learning, and then there's a phase after that is you live what you've learned and the experiences. And the last part is giving back, because the knowledge you have, you cannot contain it, right? You want to
That's right.
share.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a philosopher or a Greek, I believe it is Latin phrase that says "docendo discos bibendo cogito,"
Yes.
meaning that I learn by teaching
Yes.
and think by writing. So engaging in academia keeps me going, keeps me young. It
Yeah.
keeps me thinking, and I learn a lot from my student, and I also learn from the textbooks that I engage with and content that I share with my students.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a learning opportunity.
Yeah. And when you talked about taking a risk, I think when it comes to giving back now, that third phase, that is where you tend to take the most risk, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It is a huge risk because
Yeah.
being a public servant is oftentimes not is not a thankful position. Nobody will just come to thank you for the hard work that you're putting in serving the people.
Yeah.
Always people come with critique. They want to critique what you're doing, how terrible of a job you are, and that is why it is a thankless job.
Yeah.
I sit down these days after campaigning and
Yeah.
sympathize with people who run for council office, people who run for mayoral office, people who serve in different capacities as MLAs and a member of parliament. I don't think we give them enough credit for what they do. It is a lot. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish that we could be more thankful, but I think we feel sometimes entitled as citizens. Yeah. So would you share with us the struggles you or on your journeys as international student?
Yeah.
The positives, but the struggles, because many people might think that once you land in a Western country, and I'm talking to most of our viewers who could be African people, Kenyans, it seems that many people view, and we viewed that too before we came here, that coming out here is a life of luxury. As an international student, you've made it, and they have their own needs, and they would like us to give back to them right away. But from our international student point of view, it's different. So, which is, I think every international student has that in common. What was your experience and your challenges?
Yeah, it is very different having, the mentality that we hold from our countries of origin. Until you land here, then you face the reality of the matter. For me, it was extremely difficult. When I came to Canada, I knew absolutely nobody. I just showed up as Josh Okello, going to school. I had $120 in my pocket. When I landed at Pearson Airport in Toronto at 1 a.m. at night on September 2nd, 2009, I asked for a taxi to bring me to school, and the taxi was like, yeah, from here to where you're going to go to school would be around $150, meaning that I was already going to spend all that I had and borrow more just to get to school.
Yeah.
So, but he was a very nice guy. He told me that if you can take a bus, that will cost you about $3 to get to school, and you'll have some money. I was like, sure, I'll take a bus. So I took a bus, train, got to school very late, and just crashed on the driveway there because I knew nobody. Everything was closed. It was right at night. Then a security guy comes to me and finds me sleeping. I laid my head on my bag. Just tired after over 20-hour flight. So he gets me here and is like, hey, what are you doing? Who are you? My name is Josh. I just came from Kenya. Please don't arrest me. I'm supposed to be a student. Yeah, so they were nice. They opened the doors for me. I got into school. Now, things happened when my brother lost his job that he was doing in Kenya, meaning that he couldn't support me. So I had to rely on myself. In a country that I know nobody. And the cost of living is expensive. The tuition is expensive. And it got to a point where I was on the streets. Then by God's grace, I met a pastor who told me that, Josh, look, you have been attending this church for so many months now. We want to accommodate you instead of being on the streets. Why don't you come and crash in the church during during nighttime? In the daytime, go to school, study, and when you come back in the evening, our ladies from the church will put something in the fridge for you. You eat. Then you crash again, tomorrow morning leave. So that was my experience going when I was taking my studies at the university. It's a reality that a lot of people don't know, and I also don't like to share it much, but it is a real struggle.
Yeah.
So being homeless and seeing how God worked in my life to who I am today, I thank God a lot, and I thank people who came to my rescue when I needed it the most. I would have gone back to Africa without any degree.
Yes. Yeah, I think that I experienced a similar story because today it's not about me, but I think that these stories were very hard. I'm starting to tell now my international student story. And my first one was the Christmas story, right? Where I was home alone in the dorm for 3 Christmases. But it's a very painful thing. So, but we need to tell that. And for me, this is a time that I'm telling my international student stories. And that's why I also welcomed you to tell, because there are many students. And I hope that any student from any country can come across this video. Because I also, the year that I was about to graduate, I was just crawling and I was about to give up. And my friend from BC said, no way, you've gone too far to give up. You know, she cheered me on. And so I hope that if you're listening as an international student, you can relate to us. We come to those, everybody's story is different, but the challenges are so similar. And giving up sometimes feels like the only option. So we are here to encourage you. And thinking back, I think that university dean of students or those that are dealing with students, I hope they come across this video too, because they need to do more for international students, receiving international students at the airport, because I have my own arrival story too that was crazy. And to make sure that they're received well and they're settled well and followed up. There is so much work to be done. And I hope that with this video, we can somehow make a difference, right? Make a difference. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Um,
very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that there's so much we could talk about. Maybe in the future we can do another video about international students or student life. Who knows how this goes? But let's get back now to politics and how you got into politics, and
Yeah.
who was your political role model?
I have a number of political role models. One of them being Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, the President of the United States of America, did some extraordinary things, from being a self-taught lawyer, to abolishing slavery, or advocating to abolish slavery. Among other things that he did, was really inspiring for me. And he's someone that I really look I look up to his standards, very high standards.
Yeah.
The other one that I really look up to is Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Originating from Kenya, from very humble family, to rising through the ranks to be the world leader.
Yeah.
Definitely an inspiring story. I don't agree with all his policies.
Yes.
But the fact that he made history as the first Black American president is definitely something to admire.
Yeah.
Among other key leaders, Nelson Mandela, of course, one of our own.
Yeah.
Madiba is one of the greatest leaders.
Yes.
Who he taught me forgiveness.
Wow.
That is one thing that I learned from Nelson, coming from prison to saying, hey, the country has to move on. We need to forgive for us to make our world, our country, our province, our constituencies, our community better. That forgiveness is something that I learned from Nelson Mandela.
Yeah. So that's why, Josh, it's important to tell your story or to share your story, because it's also an inspiration for other people, for other students, especially, or anybody, let's say even visible minorities. Because we tend to think that someone is out to get us, somebody is out to oppress us. And no, you dream something really lofty, but you kick yourself down the spiral, because you think, oh, what are my hopes? But two things, I think, is self-belief, believing in yourself, believing in God that it can help. But also you got to take that action. And even if somebody said, even if you losing is part of winning. It's learning how to do it better next time, right? Like that inventor that invented the light bulb, I don't know how many times. Do you remember how many times he?
1,000 times.
Yeah, and he said, what he learned from it is about 1,000 times not to do it, right? How to, yeah. So that helped me also to embrace failure, to say that's a learning process, but it is not. We don't beat ourselves by it. And when you talk about those people who were the first in their families and in their culture, in their race and so on, are you the first African to vie for a political seat in Manitoba? Definitely the first Kenyan.
The first Kenyan, but not the first African. Remember when I was running, we had 3 Africans that I know of that were also running. One of them is the current deputy premier, Asagwara, who is from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So I'm so proud of her and all her achievements, representing the African continent in the Legislative Assembly.
Yeah.
Then there was myself, and then Titi Tijani, who is also from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So those were the 3. Oh, sorry. And the other one was Uche, who was running under Liberal Party. So Titi Tijani and myself were running under PC Party of Manitoba.
Yeah.
Uche Nwanko was running under Liberal Party, and NDP was represented by Asagwara, who is the deputy premier now.
Yeah. So it was really 2023 was a time for Africa.
It
And
was the time.
I think that the African spirit is rising. What do you think?
Definitely, it is rising. And what inspires me, despite the loss, is that we are making history
Yes.
for the future generation. They'll look back and say, look, I know a Kenyan who tried to run and nothing wrong happened to him. So why can't I? So I hope that these bold steps that we are taking is going to inspire the next generation to do greater things. Not only run for MLA, I want them to run for the member of parliament. I want them to be the next prime minister of our country. I want, yeah. So big things can happen, but it starts from somewhere.
Yeah.
Myself, Uche, Titi Tijani, and Asagwara did our part.
Yes.
And now it is upon the next generation to see how they can do bigger and better things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are very proud
especially
of you.
People from. Thank you.
But before 2023, what do you know of any Africans or people of African descent that went into politics in Manitoba?
Yeah, I believe there's a Kenyan, not in Manitoba though. There's a Kenyan who ran, I want to think in BC. Yeah, I'm pretty confident it was in the BC as an MLA. Unfortunately, it also didn't make it. But yeah, there are people who have created history from Kenya. So
that is very good.
Yeah.
So why did you choose the PC party? PC is the Progressive Conservative, right? Could you tell us briefly why you chose that?
Absolutely. Number one is the fiscal responsibility. I believe that they are strong when it comes to understanding finances, budgets, and allocating public funds where they need to go. So that from my culture and cultural beliefs, cultural practices, my social beliefs and social practices are kind of in line. Not that I agree with everything that PC does, otherwise it would be heaven. You can't really have a party that fully aligns with everything that you strongly believe in. So those are some of the key things that I was looking for. How does it align with my faith and my social beliefs, economic beliefs, and yeah, just when it comes to serving the people, how do you allocate people's funds? In terms of taxes, things like that. So those are some of the key things that I was looking for before I decided to run.
Yeah. What are the barriers that you faced during your campaigns? And tell us how it turned out for you. Okay, I know, but tell the viewers what the outcome was of your campaign and the voting.
So, yes, with votes, we got, I was number 2 with nearly half what the number 1 candidate had. Yes, so it was an achievement for me. I didn't believe, well, even though I was running, I did not know that I was going to get more than 200 votes, to be honest.
Wow. And you got how many again?
We got over 2,000, about 2,188, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was way more than I was expecting. All I was convincing myself that if I get 50 votes out of my immediate family, then I know that there's a potential for me to run again in the future and hopefully make history. All I was looking for was that 50 mark outside my immediate family and friends that were going to vote. So getting over 2,000 votes was a humbling experience for me. That people strongly believed in me despite everything, and that can be considered a stumbling block towards getting such votes. Now, you talked of some of the hardships and challenges that I faced.
Yes.
Politics is not cheap. It is very, very expensive. Printing flyers, printing lawn signs, running those ads, running social media ads can be costly.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm very thankful because I had amazing team of volunteers.
Yeah.
They were not rich, they were not wealthy, but all they said is that we will commit to do door knocking for you, meet with people, talk with people, and tell your story of who you truly are. And I think that is where most of my votes came from.
Wow.
My votes did not come from running advertisements or from running lawn signs, giving out lawn signs, or running billboards and stuff like that, because I did not have that kind of money to run those.
Yeah.
So it is one-on-one. People give out their time to go out there and talk with communities.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really amazing.
Uh-huh.
So why do you think you did not win? Just briefly.
Time. Number one, a reason why I did not win is because of time.
Yeah.
And I started campaigning about a month and a half before elections.
Yes.
Voting day.
Yeah.
So, and in my constituency, we had about 15,000 people that I had to reach.
Yeah.
And doing door-to-door knocking and not running any ads, and just having enough lawn signs that I think we ran out the first week we gave them out. So time was definitely not on my side. I mean, we will never have enough time anyway.
Yeah.
But I won't encourage anybody to start campaigning a month before election.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really difficult. Another thing that I found was that it is very draining.
Yes.
It can really get hard to motivate yourself when you clearly know that things are not going your way. And the reason why I'm doing this, and that's why we do canvassing.
Yeah.
Is to help you understand where you are sitting with the voters.
Yeah.
And I think 3 weeks after I started serious campaigns, I could tell that this thing was not going my way. And you still in front of my volunteers, I had to be bold. We are this. We are winning this, guys.
Yes.
See how many yeses we are getting versus no's, and using statistics.
Yeah.
Just to motivate them. But deep in my heart, I already knew about a month into election that this was going to be extremely difficult to win.
Yeah. But it's good to run to the finish line, right?
Yes. Yeah, and that was my goal. It was a good test for me, a test of my patience.
Yes.
It was a test of endurance and ability. Like, how many no's do I have to get before I say, Josh, I think now it's time to fold, to hang your gloves. So I knew where we were lying based on the statistics that we were collecting doing door to door.
Yeah.
And things were also not looking good generally for the party that I was running for.
Yeah.
So a number of things that I pieced together that gave me a rough idea where I was, but I still was very shocked that we garnered all the votes that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying congratulations to you. For me, you are a winner. I don't see that you lost, because considering all those, when you told me about running, it was such a short time, but I believed in you, and I said, you know what, this is a man following his dream, and good for him. And it's good that you didn't give up, because sometimes we set precedents. When we give up on something, next time we face something that's hard, we again give up. And so if we push to the finish line, no matter the outcome, I think that we are winners to ourselves, right? To ourselves. Absolutely. And you can congratulate yourself.
Yeah. Last thing that that, well, it is a factor. I consider it a factor because I was going against an incumbent,
Oh, yeah.
and the incumbent had been holding this seat for, I want to say, for over 8 terms.
That's a
So
long time.
yeah, this guy has
Yeah.
been in this position for so long,
Yeah.
has served community in different capacities, and is well known within the province, within the party, within the community, within the
Yeah.
constituency. Just a very, very well known guy. So I have high respect for him. Challenged him. I came short. I learned from it. And like I always say, humble in victory and humble in defeat. So
Yeah.
I'll forever stay humble and congratulate him every single time I meet him. In fact, after elections, I had to go to him. I met with him, congratulated him personally
Yes.
for running the campaigns that in the way that he did, in a very respectful and honorable way. Yeah.
That's really good. You also played the role of the wind, right? You shook things up
Yeah.
eight times as the incumbent. That is a long time.
Yes, yes. And I remember clearly what he told me, that for the first time I had to go out and campaign because Josh knew you are not an easy person to deal with.
You see, that is a role you played. That's good. You know, he was already falling asleep, right?
Yes, yes. I mean, he's a guy who could not campaign and win easily. So it was good to see some fire in him. Just gives him more courage and motivation to serve the people. Yeah.
So would you run again, Josh?
Would I run again? I would consider running. I'm still involved with politics in different capacities, writing. In fact, I'm having a huge event that is coming in January 2024. Politically related, but not that I'm announcing that I'll be running or not.
Yeah.
Just to share who Josh Okello is, of course. I think that is a part that people missed, a piece that people missed.
Yeah.
And when it comes to running, I don't think I will run in the next election unless things really change. But I think I want to focus more on my family and building a platform and not such things.
Yeah. Because politics is not going anywhere, right?
It's not going anywhere.
And once it's gotten into you, it sticks. It's like once you've come to Canada and left, and you think you leave Canada, it gets you back. Or she gets you back.
Yeah. And even after elections, like I still get myself caught up in the political world with the party, and creating policies. You can't just escape it. It is part of you. Once you are a politician, you are forever going to remain a politician.
And serving in your community too, that is a very good background too. So you are not sleeping, you did not just come and went and left. So that is a really good journey. So yeah, Josh, this is very, very exciting. And I've gotten to know you even better through this conversation. And I would like to ask you, what would you share with the viewers right now, African and non-African? Maybe even you can address those three: African people, who are non-African people, international students of all walks of life from any country, because this message is just not for African students, right? This message, running and challenging yourself to go higher, to take a risk, like you're saying, it's just not for Africans only, right? It's something that is for everybody. So this message is for everyone.
Absolutely. Number one, I would say that people need to be humble in everything that you're doing. Give it your best. Stay humble, and don't let these little things get into your head, because it can be. We can easily go astray, thinking that now that I'm in Canada, there's more freedom. No, you still need to be humble and and just be thankful for every single thing we see today. We need to remember that all the rights that we are enjoying today, all the privileges, there are people who fought for them. Even a good example would be slavery. The people who gave their lives for us to enjoy the freedom that we do see today. So these are things that should not be taken for granted. We're living in a country that also rewards hard workers. And to be a hard worker, you have to believe in yourself. Yeah. And sometimes you also have to challenge yourself and dare do things that you've never done before. You have to start somewhere. So just set the bar high.
It is a risky thing to do, and you may succeed or you might fail. But remember that failure is not taking yourself out of the game. It is said that failure is part of success. You will learn so many things during that phase. Even if you're failing, you learn a different way not to do things and another way to do things better next time.